Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get together live here on Facebook, where we collect and share news from our city, state, and country. We collect and share your comments, ideas, and suggestions about how to best enjoy our life here in Puerto Vallarta or in Mexico as a community of English-speaking locals. Today is Wednesday, July 19, and as always, it is a pleasure to see you all this morning. As always, if you are new to our live broadcasting, would like a little acknowledgement, please feel free to write the word new in your comment. We'll be so very happy to give you a proper welcome. If there's a birthday out there or any kind of important celebration, let us know. And last but not least, if there's something really important that you're thinking about that you'd like to share with the rest of us, it helps a great deal if you add a capital letter Q at the beginning of the comment. Let's see. No capital letter Qs as yet. Oh, goody. But this is important. Thank you for contact to Yarn Benders. I am in, says Michel. Good for you, Michel. I wish I could go to Yarn Benders, but they usually meet on Thursday mornings, if I recall, which makes it difficult because I am always broadcasting. Could I broadcast live while I'm crocheting? I suppose I could, but it learns. It really boils down to the kind of Wi-Fi that is available at any given venue. I just saw the most wonderful cue from Brian, and I'm going to save it for later on because, well, you know, if you're reading the comments, you're reading the comments with me. But anyhow, let me get started with the news because we have a lot of things to share today, starting with our mayor. Another photo op. Mayor Michel has announced a replacement of 560 meters of water pipes that will hopefully improve clean water flow in colonias Centro, El Cerro, 5 de Diciembre, and El Caloso. The current pipes, as it turns out, were installed all the way back in 1985 and have exceeded their usable period and are now presenting a number of leaks. Work on this project will continue for the next 4 months. Good news for those living in the aforementioned colonias. Hopefully, this will increase your water flow. So yesterday, we announced that Canirac, the National Restaurant Chamber Association, achieved legal protection against the anti-tobacco laws announced in January, which allow member restaurants to reinstate their smoking areas. But this only applies to restaurants that are good-standing members of the association, not every restaurant. Somehow I thought that Canirac had more weight in our city, but in this note, I found out that out of the approximately 2,500 registered restaurants and bars registered at City Hall, 2,500, only 130 of them, or 5%, are actual Canirac members. Who knew? Somehow I thought the organization had more clout locally, but apparently it doesn't. Now, on this subject, we've seen a lot of back and forth on whether it's safe or unsafe and whether smokers should be able to do it or how to implement it or how not to implement it. And I just read an interview with Guadalajara Mayor Juan Jose Franchi, and he totally nailed the whole anti-tobacco thing with this response. The law, as we know, was developed by COFEPRIS, which is the Federal Commission for the Protection Against Sanitary Risks, with the expectations that municipalities throughout Mexico would simply follow the rules and implement it. But COFEPRIS, unfortunately, never took into account the human resources needed for municipalities to apply the law. As a result, the law was poorly designed. So Frangi said, and I'm quoting, "This law should be overseen by COFEPRIS and not the municipalities. If they want to inspect and fine restaurants, bars, and discos, it should be their responsibility." Responsibility. Responsibility. Yes. And more water issues. It would seem like caca water has a life of its own, as it now has become a new problem for Pitillal, where it's been flowing nonstop for a few days right in the main plaza surroundings. So not only has Pitillal been struggling with clean water shortages, now it is the stinky variety adding to their afflictions in what has clearly become Seapal's worst crisis in its history, due to the organization's inability to contain and resolve the problems affecting our city. So you may be wondering, why is it that we talk about water so frequently? Well, because there's just a lot of headlines that have to do with it. But hopefully, now that the city seems to be getting a huge wake-up call about water all around, the city will be more proactive in making sure that we will be better taken care of for the next few decades. More about water, though, but this is a happy ending. By now, you may have learned the story about Timothy Shattuck. He is an Australian sailor who survived 3 months adrift off Mexico with his dog, Bella. The 50-year-older was rescued by a tuna fishing vessel belonging to the Mexican company Tuni. You've seen their products at the supermarket. Shattuck has reached Manzanillo in Colima, where he stated that he thought he would die. If you are unfamiliar with the story, I will share a link to an article in English published by The Guardian. 3 months surviving on raw fish and rainwater, actually. I am not complaining about the heat moving forward after this horrific story, but thank goodness the sailor is okay. He is standing. He will have to reclaim some health and some weight, and of course a lot of his being able to remain alive had to do with his companion pet. How amazing. Let's take a look at the weather, shall we? Let's see what's going on out there. And the weather, oh, now that's funny. Snarky Weather says, I am so excited for Barbenheimer that I forgot to turn off my orbital heat rays. Of course, Barbenheimer refers to the simultaneous release of Barbie and Oppenheimer. And I'm excited about Barbenheimer too. I have tickets for Oppenheimer for Friday night, so I can't wait. But first, the weather. Of course, it is 31 degrees out there right now. Humidity is just a little lower than yesterday, 66%. And our temperature in Fahrenheit degrees is 87. Our weather forecast right now, we're expecting rain with light winds, a chance of rain of 26%. So I don't think it's going to rain, at least not in the near future. A high temperature of 34 and a low of 26, says Carrot Weather. For tomorrow, A humid day with partly cloudy skies, a chance of rain of 37, a high temperature of 33, and a low of 26. And Friday, a humid day with mostly cloudy skies, a chance of rain of only 10%, a high temperature of 33, and a low temperature of 26. We need rain. But I said I was not going to complain about the temperature anymore, so I shall not. I do have a very special message from a good friend of mine and an amazing human being. Her name is Natasha Moraga. You may or may not know Natasha personally, but if you've walked through the Tile Park in Plaza Lázaro Cárdenas, you have seen her amazing work. Natasha is a person that came to Puerto Vallarta. I will admit that I don't remember much of her story prior to arriving in the city, but thanks to a generous scholarship presented to her by Eric Wichner, who used to be the owner of Vallarta Eats Food Tours. He recently sold the company. Natasha enjoyed a scholarship with an artist, a tiling artist in Philadelphia, which is where she learned she honed her skills as a tile artist. She undertook Lázaro Cárdenas Park. She undertook letters for our city, which unfortunately were damaged due to poor construction on behalf of the city. She's done a gorgeous mural in Marina Vallarta, and she is just an amazing human being. Yesterday afternoon, Natasha reached out to me, and he asked me, what do I need to do for you to share news in your broadcast, given the fact that it is your audience that has supported me through the Lázaro Cárdenas project? After which she proceeded to tell me this story. After 6 seasons and being only 10% away from finishing the project at Plaza Lázaro Cárdenas, the person in charge of municipal tourism, along with the Emiliano Zapata Neighborhood Association, have asked me to step down from the project, indicating that they would finish it. I am truly grateful to all the people that supported the project and for the teachings I've received during these past years. And I'm happy to announce that all sponsored benches and personalized tiles were properly placed. There will be other projects, but first, a well-deserved vacation. And all I have to say here is bravo. Bravo, Natasha. I did ask Natasha if the passing of the torch was amicable, and all she said was no comment. And so no comment it is, but given what we know of our municipal government, there are just things that I will never understand as far as the government goes. But there you go. If you ever have a chance to meet Natasha Moraga, just say thank you. Please do, because she is an amazing artist, and she has given Puerto Vallarta such a wonderful focus of attention and a landmark that not many other artists in town can brag about. The end. Now, I want to also tell you that yesterday was International Vaquita Day. The vaquita, or little cow, that's what it means, is a species of porpoise endemic to the northern end of the Gulf of California, in Baja California. It is a small animal. It only reaches a maximum body length of 1.5 meters for the females, and 1.40 meters for the males. It is the smallest of all living cetaceans. Its breeding cycle only comes around every 2 years, so it's not like they're always stooping. And to make things more challenging, they only produce one specimen on each birth. As such, the species is in critical danger of extinction. So you may ask yourselves, how many vaquitas are left on planet Earth? Well, the answer is only between 10 and 13. Yes, you heard that right. Only 10 to 13 vaquita specimens are left in the planet. What seems to be the problem? Illegal fishing in the Gulf of California. And the irony is that it's not like fishing vessels are out looking for the vaquita. The vaquita gets strapped in large nets that are deployed to capture another species known as the totoaba, the totoaba fish, which also happens to be endangered. Mexican authorities reacted with relief when President Joe Biden reported in a letter sent to Congress that he has decided not to impose sanctions on Mexico for a year due to the little progress made in the conservation of the vaquita. Mexico's government, of course, President López Obrador, appreciated the gesture, but this does not justify Mexico's inactions on the matter. What can we do here? Well, probably not much, but I think it is important to know this. Also, I wanted to let you know that a few people, after I told you about the amazing property that we were able to enjoy, my friends and I, in Guadalajara during my recent birthday trip, a couple of you reached out to me and mentioned that you wanted to learn more about the property and wanted to know the Airbnb listing for it, and I am happy to share it. Of course, we want the house owners to succeed in making the property available to anyone that wishes to enjoy it. Again, it is a huge, gorgeous 5-bedroom, 5-bathroom property in the heart of Guadalajara with its own swimming pool. And it's perfect for a large family or a group of friends that wish to travel together. And when you look at the cost and you divide it by the number of people, trust me, it is as affordable as a hotel, if not better. And there you are, Barbara Salvage. It was Barbara who asked me for this information along with other people. I am happy to share. And last but not least, I have a funny story. Do you know what you have to do if you are a restaurant waiter and you wish to get fired from your job? Well, all you have to do is to keep your, to not let your customers, I was going to say to keep hostage, but it's not quite that extreme. This lady, this waitress in Mexico City, decided not to allow her customers to leave the restaurant because they did not leave enough tip behind. That's right. I think your tip is measly, so you cannot leave the restaurant, and I am calling my supervisor. Needless to say, this whole thing was captured in a very unfortunate video, and the restaurant had no choice but to release a statement in favor of the customers, of course, given the fact that tipping is not mandatory. Now, do we have any details as to the quality of service or whether the tip was actually enough or enough? We don't. But all I'm saying is if you happen to be a waiter at a restaurant and you get a tip that you don't think is worthy of getting, don't trap your customers before they leave. I tell you, I'd rather just take kindness without any expectations, but that's just me. Let's take a look at your comments. Starting with so many good mornings. It is always a pleasure to read your many good mornings. Turin, dun, 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 dun. Let's see. Many comments. Many good mornings. Many comments, many good mornings. Oh, this is the one I wanted to say. Brian says, learned the basics of tie-dye with Joshua Lotl Art yesterday. Had a lot of fun, and Joshua is a great teacher. His passion for tie-dye and life is amazing. Can't wait to see what our shirts look like when they are ready. That is awesome. Thank you very much for sharing that, Brian. Let's see. This from Vic from yesterday. INAPAM card can be obtained in Aurora office or Los Arcos Presidencia offices. Thank you very much for that tip. What? It's hotter than a snake's belly in a wagon rut. I don't like the visuals of that, but I can certainly relate. Thank you for that beautiful metaphor, David. Here's another cue. Hi, Christy. As soon as the show is over, I am heading out for the first of two cataract surgeries. I've been anxious, but I know it will be fine. I had no idea. Christy, oh my goodness. Good vibes at you. I'm sure it will be fine, but please keep us posted. If you cannot see properly, you can always hear our good wishes. No, seriously, I hope you come out of your surgery with good results. What bothers me is smokers tossing their cigarette butts to the ground, says Chris Brewer. I hear you, Chris. That bothers me as well. And there's a lot of those to be collected on the beach and whatnot. What can I tell you? Let's see what else we have. Albert says the mosaic project is incredible, isn't it? I tell you, Nat Moraga, she is absolutely amazing. Kelly says, would love to get contact info for Nat. No problem, Kelly. I will be so happy to share her Facebook page in the show notes. She is an amazing artist, and she does private projects as well. So do keep that in mind. And I think this brings us to the end of your comments for today. As always, I thank you for your kind company, for your comments, for your suggestions. Christy, you're going to be fine. And everybody else, we're going to survive the heat. Tip well. Have no expectations. Have a great hump day. And I will see you again tomorrow. Take care.